Y'all, we got a Chiefs-Cowboys trade scenario that's gaining a lot of steam, and we're going to talk about that. Good morning, Chiefs Kingdom. How's everybody doing? Thanks for rolling in here. Do your boys a solid. Hit that like button real quick on your way in. Get some more people in here this morning. We have a cool trade scenario to talk about. It's gaining a lot of steam between the Chiefs and the Cowboys. It was kind of brought up by Daniel Jeremiah and maybe some other people as well. I've seen it a few times, but it's definitely gaining a lot of steam. We're going to talk about all that and much more. Before we get started, though, just want to shout out DraftKings for sponsoring today's live stream.
The next great playoff touchdown is coming, and you can bet on every moment of postseason glory. We've teamed up with DraftKings Sportsbook because playoff football delivers the biggest scores of the year, and every trip to the end zone matters more than ever. Whether it's first touchdown score, anytime touchdown, player props, or same-game parlays, DraftKings gives you more ways to ride the adrenaline of every score during Super Bowl 60. Right now, new customers that bet $5 can get $300 in bonus bets if your bet wins by signing up using our promo code ACU. With DraftKings, the crown is yours.
That's right, y'all. If you don't have DraftKings, download that bad boy. Use the promo code ACU so they'll know that we sent you their way. Mike, the prospect of the Chiefs trading Trent McDuffie has been a giant major talking point this 2026 offseason already. Everyone's talking about it. And then there's a new trade scenario. It was popularized by Daniel Jeremiah, the NFL analyst, like I was mentioning earlier. He suggests that Dallas could send their number 20 overall pick, which is their first-round pick, to the Kansas City Chiefs for star cornerback Trent McDuffie. How do you feel about that one?
Yeah, this has been thrown around, not just this trade specifically, but a lot of McDuffie talk has been going for weeks now. First, we got the rumor that the Chiefs were working to get a McDuffie deal done, which I think that's probably where Brett Veach is going to land. But a lot of people think, hey, we need more draft capital. We don't need to pay McDuffie. Let's save 13.5 on 2026. We seen this Barnwell when, like last week, it got popular about sending McDuffie and a 5th-round pick for pick number 29, which was absolutely absurd. We hated it.
That's weak. That's weak.
And then you mentioned this one that just come out. So if this was the second mock draft by Daniel Jeremiah, and he had the Chiefs taking Jeremiah Love at number 9, which a lot of Chiefs fans got horned up about. But if you went down the list, you started reading picks, you caught something here at pick number 20 with Dallas. And it says, then again, if the Chiefs would take this pick in a trade for Trent McDuffie, the Cowboys would solve their secondary issues in the blink of an eye. He actually had them taking Jermod McCoy from Tennessee at pick number 12 because they have 2 first-round picks. Daniel Jeremiah has worked with the Chiefs before in their scouting department. Phil Yates has worked with the Chiefs in their scouting department. These guys talk to GMs all the time. Daniel Jeremiah worked with the Eagles. I'm sorry, not the Chiefs. But he worked with the Eagles in their scouting department. And it might have been back when Andy was there too, matter of fact. But anyway, these guys know people. So for him to throw a trade out like this, there may be a little bit of smoke. And so I went digging on it, and I actually went in and found 105.3 The Fan in Dallas. And their sports talk radio was talking about this trade. And I want to let everybody listen to what they did and how they assessed the Trent McDuffie trade, because some of the guys maybe wasn't sold, and some of the dudes were enthused over this bad boy. So let's take a listen to that really quick.
Maybe if the Chiefs would take this pick in a trade for Trent McDuffie, who's entering the final year of his deal, the Cowboys would solve their secondary issues in the blink of an eye. You want to do this?
I'm interested.
Why?
Tell me why not.
20 McDuffie fine.
Trent McDuffie's a stud.
Yeah.
He's 25 years old. Now, what's the contract?
Entering the final year of his deal. Rookie deal. It's cheap.
5th-year option, $13 million.
Mm-hmm.
So you are going to have to pay.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm automatically getting the best corner on my team. If Deron Bland can put him back in the number 2 role, he can come back from the injury and the bad down season, disappointing that he had. Trent McDuffie, if I drafted Trent McDuffie at 20, I'm thrilled. So
sure.
Why not?
He's free.
Why are you freaking out?
because you pick a corner at 12. Daniel Jeremiah is suggesting they pick a corner at 12 and then use a 20th pick on a corner.
Well, first I'm talking just 20 for McDuffie.
20 McDuffie, I can talk about it.
Yeah.
I can talk about it.
And
it might be a slight overpay, but I can talk about it.
And I'm not going crazy if they did this with a second corner. I'm not going crazy.
All the things they need.
Bro.
Dude, do you think it's really a slight overpay to get Trent McDuffie for pick 20?
No, not at all. And then you have him on a year for $13 million. That's a wild thing to say. I think that this makes more sense for Dallas than it does for the Chiefs almost.
I do too.
Which is pretty crazy because, like Daniel Jeremiah said, all of their cornerback issues are just solved in a blink of an eye. They get a top 3 corner in the entire National Football League, and it's just for a 20th pick when they already have the 12th pick. So it's not like they're losing out on the entire first round. They already have a first-round pick. Now, I don't know about them doubling up there. Right. I don't know about them doubling up with the corner and then trading for McDuffie.
That's at pick number 12 if
that's
you have a 20th for McDuffie, but the Chiefs getting a pick 20. I think this is a win-win both ways. Now, look, is 20 so high, though, that Dallas doesn't give you anything else? And if you're the Chiefs, would you want anything else?
I mean, I'm sure there's going to be a lot of players in this thing. If they're really out there shopping Trent McDuffie, there'll be more teams than just the Rams and the Cowboys. People are going to want this kid. Like I said, he's a top 3 corner in National Football League. He can play inside and outside. He can do pretty much anything you want him to do. So, I mean, he's pretty versatile when it comes to different schemes and stuff like that. So I think a lot of teams are going to be looking at McDuffie. So I think the Chiefs, if they want to trade him away and get some draft capital, they might be able to play a couple teams off of each other, but I mean, the pick 20 wouldn't be bad. I mean, Trent McDuffie was what, the 21st pick overall back in that draft with him and Karlaftis and stuff like that. So I mean, if you could score a number 20 pick and you already have pick 9 and you have pick 40, I believe, so that gives you 3 top 40 picks, 2 in the first round, then that might be enough, and you're going to save $13.6 million on the cap, which we know they restructured Mahomes, so they're down to like $30-some million that they're over the cap. But, I mean, that's a nice little chunk that could come off right there, and you gain draft capital. I don't know, man. I think it makes sense for both sides, actually. So I think out of all the trade scenarios I've seen so far, this one makes the most sense to me.
I think if the Chiefs get pick number 20, I don't know if you could get anything else. I think that's a little borderline, like high up in the first round. That
you think
I don't
you can get a late round pick with it, maybe, or something?
I don't know. I don't know, because even Dallas is thinking that might be a slight overpay. I mean, that's a lot.
The Dallas radio guy says that, but he doesn't sound very smart. But Dallas themselves, if they're getting a top 3 corner and they need corner that bad, and they already have another first round pick, they might do that.
But look, this is where everybody goes wrong with this. We see Trent McDuffie as value, and we see what he is, and then we say, but we should get more. But in the NFL, that does not work out like that. And these tend to be smaller trades because you're not taking into consideration that when Dallas does give you pick number 20, Dallas also has to sign him to that massive contract that we got out of. So they see that is part of the trade. We don't sign him.
There's not a massive contract. I mean, they would.
That's how they
obviously
do it.
Obviously, if they traded the first round pick for him, they're going to want to extend him and keep him around for a while.
Absolutely.
But I mean, Dallas, they'll pay people that much all the time. So I mean, it's not really a thing for them. They've paid corners before, not like the Chiefs who don't like to pay corners.
I think it's a huge win for the Chiefs. Well, it's a huge win for Dallas because they have 2 picks. You don't have to take a corner at number 12. And then you can take McDuffie and pair him up with Dayron Bland, right? You can take number 9 or number 12 rather, and you can
automatically be at the top of the league in corners instantly.
I don't know about that.
With those two?
I mean, Dayron Bland was kind of down last year, and they don't have any safeties. That's what I was trying to say. At number 12, if you could get a Caleb Downs to possibly fall to you, that would be insanity if you could pull Caleb Downs and Trent McDuffie. Like, I don't think Downs is going to get to number 12, but I've seen scenarios. And so with the Chiefs, I think it's a win-win too, because I think if you've got 9 and pick 20, now you don't feel so bad taking Jeremiah Love at number 9, because you can still get a nice pass rusher, whoever you want at number 20, and that first round don't look so bad all of a sudden.
Right, and you could also get a young replacement for Trent McDuffie with like Montour Delaney or somebody like that if you really wanted to go that route. Yeah. So there would be a lot of options for the Chiefs. Real quick, let's get to the chat. We got our boy Greg Goodwin in the house with the 5 bombs. Says trade Trent McDuffie and Rice for a first round pick for Justin Jefferson and a 3rd pick. That is a massive overpay for Justin Jefferson, Greg. I couldn't do that. I couldn't do it. Not to mention, you still got to pick up that massive contract. I just don't think that's feasible.
Yeah, I think if we can't pay the McDuffie one, then
I don't think it's feasible, Greg. I like what you're doing here. I like what you're trying to cook up, but I just don't think that's going to happen, brother. We got a 2 bomb from Revenant. Says, is it real report of Chiefs keeping an eye on a Hill? So the only thing I've seen about that was Farzan or whatever his name is. He said that Nate Taylor said that the Chiefs are monitoring the rehabilitation of Tyreek Hill.
Isn't that exactly what Andy said in his live presser the other day?
Pretty much. But Andy said there was nothing there. I don't think there's anything there, but I'm sure they're going to keep an eye on it because, if he comes back healthy and he wants to play more football and he's going to be a lot cheaper than he used to be, then, the Chiefs are always trying to keep an eye out for a receiver they can pick up for a year or 2 or 3. Or, you know what I'm saying? Like, how many times have they gone out and got Juju on a 1-year deal? They got MVS on a 2-year deal. They got Hollywood Brown on 1-year deals. They do that kind of thing. So, of course, they're going to keep their eye on it just in case they want to grab him when he does come back. But, I don't think it means anything per se. And I don't think Tyreek Hill's going to play football this coming season.
Yeah, that's the main factor. I think a lot of people want Tyreek Hill back, but everybody's got to remember he's not playing in 2026. Like, it's not happening.
Yep, Huckleberry in the house. Been a member for 18 months. Says early morning ACU. Time to put on some coffee and hang with the crew. Let's freaking go, Huckleberry. That's what you guys should be doing too. Do us a favor, hit that like button if you haven't yet. If you're new to the channel, welcome in. Subscribe. Hang out with us more often. But yeah, get it out there. Get it out there. We got to wake up, Chiefs Kingdom. Wake up.
Yeah. We're going to start a morning show called Wake Up.
But yeah, so I think the fan base, more than the team, learned a lesson when they traded away L'Jarius Sneed a couple seasons ago. Because the fan base themselves were just like, we can't trade him. He's the greatest corner of all time, and he was worth 2 first-round picks, and they really overvalued L'Jarius Sneed, and you ended up getting like a 3rd-round draft pick out of him. Is what you ended up getting out of him from Tennessee, and in hindsight, that was a dub because L'Jarius Sneed hasn't done anything since leaving Kansas City. So I think when you start looking at Trent McDuffie for a pick number 20 overall, you have to kind of use that logic there. And now I don't think Trent McDuffie is going to fall off and not be good. Those are 2 different types of players. Like, obviously they don't play the same style, but I also think that Trent McDuffie's a way higher tier than L'Jarius Sneed across the board. So I don't know, man.
You know what I've seen? I've seen a lot, and I'm talking like probably way more than they do well. I've seen a lot of corners and a lot of big players specifically get to that 2nd-year contract, that second full contract, not 2nd year, but the 2nd contract, and boy, they struggle mightily. They don't look the same. They get a little bit of money, and they don't look the same. And I'm not saying McDuffie's going to do that.
I don't feel like he's that type of dude, but you never know.
But he also just missed a lot of games due to an injury. Could this be the arc of the injury arc for Trent McDuffie? Some players go through those years where they just have 1 or 2 or 3 years where they can't stay on the field. Maybe that hit. And we don't know.
Yeah. So I ran this trade scenario through a bunch of different AIs just to see who would benefit the most. I wanted to see, from that point of view, what they think. And they said this is a rare win-win scenario. Like that both sides win with this trade. But it says the edge arguably could go more towards Dallas. So the Cowboys could benefit most in terms of on-field performance. Drafting at number 20 is always a gamble, and trading that pick for McDuffie, who is a sure thing, who is the highest graded cornerback in the NFL from 2023 and 2024, provides an immediate elite upgrade that a rookie cannot match.
Right. That's always our.
So, I mean,
isn't that always the argument? AI's arguing for the point of what we always say of like draft picks are gambles. McDuffie has on-field proven, but you don't see on-field proven players get exchanged for high draft picks very often. It's really weird. The NFL loves high draft picks. They like to gamble, apparently.
Yeah. Hey, it's fun, I guess. Fred Smith with the 2 bombs says, sorry, I'm late today. Better late than never, Fred. Good to see you, brother. Thanks for the support. Yeah, man. So if the Chiefs did do that, and then, so we mentioned they could look at replacing the cornerback position with that number 20 pick, with like Mansour Delaney. But, you know, Jermon McCoy probably could be floating around at that point. I'm not big on both of those guys as being a replacement for Trent McDuffie, and I don't feel like you have to go that route. To me, it kind of opens it up a little bit for you. Because, I mean, right now, I think you still have to address corner, and you could do that via free agency or the draft. But, I mean, you do have Noah Williams, who's going to take a bigger role in this defense this coming year. He has to.
Yeah.
You also have Jaylen Watson. Are they going to re-sign him, or are they going to let him walk? So that's another thing that people could talk about, and that could kind of play a factor in the entire thing. But to me, dude, I feel like it opens up the draft a little bit to where, like you said, if you know, Jeremiah Love's hanging out there at number 9, what does it hurt to take him off of pure value? Because you got another pick in 11 picks. You know, so like if you were trying to address a certain position, there's still going to be guys there at pick number 20. And then you still, if you did do that, you still are not, you know, just mandatory taking a corner there. You could catch some other positions at pick 20 that you could really fill the hole in. Edge rushers, I feel like TJ Parker might still be hanging around about pick 20. That wouldn't be bad value on him. And then also, I've seen reports lately, because of the injury history, that Jordan Tyson could fall to as low as pick 20 or mid-20s. If he's sitting there, dude, that gives Mahomes a refined route runner. Somebody that's actually good at getting open. And I know there's some risks there, but pick number 20, like you mentioned, is a risk. If you're drafting, you're taking a risk.
Yeah, look, I like the scenario of taking the pick at 20 with McDuffie. And it's not because I dislike McDuffie at all. It's rather the contrary. I was one of the only people that said if I ever traded up to get a corner in that draft, it would have been Trent McDuffie, and then we did it. I've always been a McDuffie fan. Here's the thing. McDuffie is limited at corner. He's 100% limited. So we know he's got a few problems with covering bigger, taller wide receivers.
Size is basically it, right?
Size is his limit. Okay. He did allow more catches this year. They were not afraid to throw at McDuffie this year. When they finally dug in and quarterbacks would throw towards him, they could complete passes on McDuffie this year. He allowed more passes this year. So I think maybe the fear factor of McDuffie's kind of coming down a little bit. I think a lot of people think he's better in the slot than he is on the outside. But you can't pay a slot corner that much money because you're not going to have money to pay everybody else. You just can't do it. He wants to get paid like an outside corner, and he's going to want to play outside corner. So I think that it kicks off this ball that you can get rolling downhill, in my opinion, if you can get pick 9 and pick 20. Now, both of these picks, theoretically, you could sit at 9 and take Jeremiah Love. If there's another player you really like, you could sit there and take him. Ruben Bain, maybe. But if nobody is there, you can essentially trade 9 back, pick up more draft picks. And then at 20, if there's a lot of players on the board, you can essentially trade 20 back and gain more draft picks. You can turn that one draft pick into 15 different draft picks. And you bring up like Kenyon Sadiqs and things like that where everybody's kind of ruled them out because they're late first. But those kinds of players right there help build rosters.
Absolutely. I mean, if first and foremost, let's just say if they traded Trent McDuffie for the number 20 pick, like you said, and like Sarge is saying here in the chat, it opens up a lot of potential in the draft. You could do a lot of different things. Like you could take that pick number 9 and then still trade 20 back and gain draft capital. You could trade back number 9, keep the pick 20, gain draft capital. I mean, either way, you're going to end up with at least 3 picks in the top 40.
You already know what Brett Veach is doing. He's taking 9 and 20. He's moving them together. He's going to go up 4 picks, and he's going to take Mekhi Lemon way too early. That would be what he does.
Well, let's talk about this as if they did trade Trent McDuffie for pick 20. So the Chiefs have pick number 9, pick 20, and then pick 40. Let's talk about that. So how do they go about replacing the loss of McDuffie? Because that's a huge loss. You can't ignore it. You cannot ignore it. If you took Trent McDuffie off the team this year, you saw there's some obvious holes there. So they do have to replace him. Now, if they do it via draft, like I mentioned, if you wanted Mansour Delaney or Jamad McCoy, you have to take them at 20 at the latest if they're still there. What's going on? What's going on, guy? Good to see you. So if you go a little later in the draft, like if maybe he could fall to the 40 pick, or if you did trade back one of them, I think Keith Abney, we talked about that guy. I think he could be a nice little replacement. We even talked about Avion Terrell, which I think you would probably have to take around pick 20 if you wanted to snake him. But there are options. There are options there. Now, you could go free agency. You could re-sign Jaylen Watson. I don't know if they're going to do that. They might, but I think he's priced himself out, in my opinion.
I think Kansas City fans would like that option. If you said trade Trent McDuffie for pick 20 and re-sign back Jaylen Watson, I think that would probably win over keep McDuffie and extend him.
Yeah, maybe. You
I really
could
think
be right.
Kansas City fans would prefer that.
I would think that Jaylen Watson's priced himself out of KC. I think he has. I just don't think what he's going to get paid by another team that needs a corner, a big, fast, physical corner that has proven himself in flashes. I don't know if they can afford him, but they could go outside during free agency. They could look at Greg Newsome. I think he kind of underperformed after being traded to the Jaguars, and I think that maybe that's somebody they could look at. Alontae Taylor from the Saints. He's a physical corner who's kind of flown under the radar there. And then
I remember him coming out of Tennessee. He was pretty good.
Right, and there's also a former first-round pick who kind of struggled with injuries his career, but in 2025, he flashed pretty well, and he showed that he could be a cheap death piece or even have starter upside potential. And you know how Brett Veach likes to get those first-round dudes.
Yeah, he gets a little horny.
That have a lot of potential, and they haven't hit it yet, and that's Eric Stokes. And so I think there are options in free agency. Now, are you going to replace Trent McDuffie 1-for-1 either way? No. When you trade Trent McDuffie for pick number 20, you're automatically, unless you get lucky with a Delaney or someone like that, you automatically are saying you're going to downgrade at corner. You are going to downgrade at corner. Now, how much, I don't know. But, I mean, those are kind of your options there as far as, you know, replacing the hole in the cornerback room. Do you have any other ideas?
You know, I just like the draft option. I think the draft option is the way to go. I would be okay with Stokes. I thought he'd done okay with the Raiders this past year, whatever. I think he proved that maybe he could be deserving of more of an opportunity. But there are a lot of corners in this draft. There's I would say there's probably 6 to 8 top 50 corners. You're looking at probably 10 top 75 corners. So essentially, if you trade back number 9 or trade back number 20, and you want to pick up more picks, if you can get any more picks in that top 75, top 100, you're going to get some decent corners. You've got Brandon Cisse out of South Carolina, 6'190". That's really good. We didn't even talk about him. He's going to be a borderline first-round pick, if not a first-round pick. There's Colton Hood out of Tennessee, who I'm not the most impressed with Colton Hood. I think if I'm going to take a player that's 6'188", and he's a little undersized, and even Avion Terrell, 5'11", 180, those guys are a little undersized. If I'm going to go undersized, I'm just going to go flat out completely undersized and go with D'Angelo Pons. Because that kid can flat out.
I was getting ready to say, he's like a perfect stylistic replacement for Trent McDuffie, but he's 5'9".
But he's little, right? Dude, you got Chris Johnson from San Diego State, 6'190". He's more of like say maybe an off-zone kind of corner, but Spags has been going into more zone stuff. Matter of fact, when we sit down in zones is when we give up those long third downs. So maybe if Spags wants to keep running that stupid scheme, why don't you get a corner that can help you? Get a linebacker that can help in zone. But you've got Charles Demings out of Stephen F. Austin that I think is flying up boards. You got Malik Muhammad out of Texas. Julian Neal could be one of the top 3-4 corners in this draft out of Arkansas at 6'1", 202. You may get him early day 3. So there are plenty of options here. But here's what I think. The Chiefs and Brett Veach, for some reason, do not like to play ball when it comes to trading players. We'll trade picks. He'll trade up all day long. But he seems to not ever want to trade picks for players. And you know what's going to happen. We're going to set on this. We're not going to do nothing with Dallas. And Dallas is going to end up giving pick number 20 to the Cleveland Browns for Denzel Ward or something. And we're going to sit back here and be like, look, the Browns did it. And why couldn't the Chiefs do it? Because they're talking about, maybe cutting Denzel Ward. I don't think it's possible, but they may give him up for pick 20. So I can see other teams doing this, but Brett Veach is just one of those, he just doesn't want to do certain things, and picks for players is not something Veach has ever experimented with. I think enough.
Yeah, maybe the other way around. I feel like he's definitely traded players for picks. Are you saying trade a pick for a player?
I'm saying trade players for picks, as in big players to land lots of picks.
Yeah, I mean, Tyreek Hill. What are we talking about?
That was the only one.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think he's opposed to trading a player away for picks. I think that's something Brett Veach would do. I kind of differ from you on that one.
Well, Tyreek Hill forced the hand. He had offered Tyreek Hill a massive bag, and he didn't want it. That's
true. Another guy in the draft, I don't know if you mentioned him. I can't ever say his name right, but the big physical kid from OSU. He's like 6'2", excels in press man. He's kind of a long corner, kind of in that vein of L'Jarius Sneed. It's I can't say his name.
Son?
I can't say his name.
Dude, he's look, I'm going to teach you this one. It's called No Son. No Son.
Did you just make that up?
No, I actually wrote it down. I listened to it, and I tried to put it in those, like, what's it called, phonics or something, where you do the dashes. It's IG, Ag-B, B-I-H, and then No Son.
Agbinason.
Is he like karate? Is this like
wax on, wax off?
Agbinason. I love it. Hey, look, I love it. But I think he can be like a top 100 player at the end of the day. But at the Senior Bowl, he got picked on a lot. It was weird. He allowed a lot of catches, and a lot of Ohio State fans are like, if you want to have somebody give up a catch in big times, go ahead and go to him.
I just told you he's a lot like L'Jarius Sneed, who let up the most catches in the NFL every year he was a corner. So it totally makes sense. We got Krista in the chat, or Crystal, I don't know, sorry, but says, what about trading with the Rams? We did talk about that for a minute. There was a trade scenario brought up about that. Yeah. They're pick 29, so I mean that's on the table. The pick scenario, or the trade scenario, I'm sorry, that we saw was with the Chiefs trading a pick with McDuffie, which is insanity. So Barnwell's high there. I would never do that. That's insane. If I'm going pick 29, you better be giving me something else.
Yeah, you're getting more picks with pick 29. Pick 20, you might be able to just cut it at that.
Pick 20 is about where I would draw the line. I could probably do a straight trade for Trent McDuffie at pick 20. Pick 29, you better give me something with it. But yeah, man, that opens up a lot. And let's just say, okay, now let's take it from the angle that they are not going to try to replace something in the cornerback room, and they're going to just open it up and just get players that they need. So before we do that, guys, appreciate you all being here. Do us a favor, hit the like button if you haven't, subscribe to the channel if you haven't. And I also wanted to shout out another sponsor of today's live stream, Zarda Barbecue. Get yourselves over to Zarda. It's in Blue Springs and Lenexa. They have the 2 locations. Go get yourself the wings and things combo. Get those smoked wings, those fall off the bone ribs, and some onion rings. Can't beat it. The food is delicious. They also have the limited reserve menu right now. You can get burnt ends. You can get a ton of stuff. Excellent food. And let them know All Chiefed Up sent you their way. But Mike, let's talk about if they don't go corner, what are the other possibilities? We already mentioned if they're sitting at 9 and they have to pick 20, they can take best player available at 9. So if Jeremiah Love's there, no problem. Let's take him. If Caleb Downs is there, no problem. Come on, buddy. If Ruben Bain's there at 9, okay, let's go. I feel like it completely opens up that pick, but then I don't think you have to go corner at pick 20. No. You could pick something different. So, I mean, what all scenarios have popped in your head so far? If the Chiefs got 3 top 40 picks there, number 9, number 20, and number 40.
Right. So I think out of those 3, let's just assume they take every one of those. I think you could go Bain or Love at number 9, and I'm completely fine with that. At number 20, a Kenyon Sadiq would be incredible. And then at pick 40, or maybe you trade back just a few picks and you can get maybe some ammo to come back up. But either way, could you imagine pulling off Jeremiah Love or Ruben Bain at pick 9? Kenyon Sadiq at pick 20, and then maybe, just maybe, at number 40, you can get a guy like Omar Cooper Jr. to fall to you at number 40.
Dude, if you got Jeremiah Love,
3 picks, bro.
Let me get this straight. Jeremiah Love
at pick 9,
and then at pick 20, you got Kenyon Sadiq, and then at pick 40, you got Omar Cooper.
Omar Cooper Jr. slides a little bit and gets you at pick 40.
That's killer.
You just solved your backfield. You've got a replacement for Rashee Rice.
Your
and
offense
you've got a replacement
is
for Travis Kelce in 3 picks.
shit. And here's the thing: you could, if you got Omar Cooper Jr., that also could bring up the possibility of trading away Rashee Rice.
Right, and you've got an entire draft now from pick 40 on. You've got an entire draft to just start taking all the best defensive players you can get. Or let's go a little bit different scenario. Let's put a little defense in there. What if you want to just go all defense? At pick number 9, you take, Peter Woods. At pick 20, you take like Brandon Cisse or somebody like a corner, and then at pick or you can do better than that. Take a nice defensive end early. You could even get a.
I think T.J. Parker could fall that low.
Yeah,
and he's not bad.
Like T.J. Parker, he fits the SPAG system. And then at pick number 40, you could maybe hit your Keith Abney or your,
I like the first scenario better.
There.
I mean, I always say draft defense, and that's complete opposite. But like that scenario is wild,
dude. If you can get Jeremiah Love, who's a blue chipper, you can get a Travis Kelce possible replacement, and then turn around and get a Rashee Rice possible replacement. That's hard to stop because a lot of these defenders outside, even Ruben Bain, he's the number 1 defender in this class, but you can pick problems with him. You can pick some holes in him, as in he's not going to be a double-digit sack guy, right?
Yeah.
So that's a problem for some.
Well, I mean, here's the thing. What if you did re-sign Jalen Watson, or you were to go out and get a Greg Newsome or Alontae Taylor or Eric Stokes or something like that in free agency, and then you got that draft scenario?
Yeah. It could be wild.
It could be crazy, dude. I mean, it would open up a lot. And I love Trent McDuffie. I'm just like you. I've been a Trent McDuffie fan since day one. I think he's top 3 corner in football, top 5 easily if you want to argue that. And I think he's a good kid. He's got a good head on his shoulders. He's very smart, great character. And I would love to have him around. I mean, if they decided to extend him, I'm not going to be mad because I really do like Trent McDuffie. But, dude, it's very intriguing to see what you could do if you did trade him for that number 20 pick to Dallas. So I actually think this is the best trade scenario that's been brought up yet for Trent McDuffie. I know a lot of you guys in the chat have been talking about trading him away. A lot of you guys are for that. I might go ahead and make a poll real quick, Mike, and just put up there, would you trade Trent McDuffie for pick number 20? Even, flat out.
Yeah.
And let's see what the crew's thinking.
Steve,
so
the
let's
Chiefs
do that.
The Chiefs already have pick number 9. Pick 40, pick 74, and then pick 109. I'll count pick 109 because that's close to a top 100 pick. So you've already got 4. This would give you 5 top 100 picks. And in this draft is not particularly deep in 2026. I think all the main talent is coming in those top 100, 125 players. Like, you're going to be a very rare hit if you hit somebody out of the top 120, 150 picks, in my opinion. So getting a more front-loaded draft here is good. If you can't get all the top 100 picks, you want to push the draft off till next year. Next year's is going to be much deeper.
Yeah, I agree with that. But, I mean, if you could get, 3 top 40 picks in this draft would not be bad. Like you said, it's very top-heavy. So I think there are some good players in the top 100.
Take a scenario here. Let me give you a scenario. What if pick number 9, the Chiefs said, hey, let's take Mekhi Lemon?
Okay.
Like, let's just say you take Mekhi Lemon at 9. What would you do at 20 and pick 40, you think?
I think if you took a receiver at number 9, you kind of you eliminate running back from the scenario.
Yeah.
So, because I don't even know if I use
You
pick
would eliminate
40
him
on
to
any
at
other
least-
running back than Jeremiah.
No,
Love.
you'd have to do that like pick 74.
Exactly. So you eliminate running back from that altogether. I think at pick 20, I would still be looking for probably defense at this point. If I took a wide receiver, I'd probably be looking at edge rusher first and seeing if someone, maybe you do kick the tires on a TJ Parker or somebody like that, or corner if Delaney's there, or
what about defensive tackle? Caleb Banks.
That's a possibility too. I think you go defense
out of Texas
there.
Tech. Yeah, you've got a lot of guys.
And then pick 40, you don't need Omar Cooper if you reached on Mekhi Lemon. So that opens that up as well. I'd probably go defense if I could. Or maybe I look at protecting Mahomes and I get that depth piece at tackle. I get the Max Ioniker.
You could.
At pick 40.
You've also got like Tiernan, I think, out of Northwestern, there's a lot of guys. There's a lot of things. And then, like you just said, you take 74, you could maybe get a Jonah Coleman, Jadarian Price. Jadarian Price might be gone by 74, but
yeah,
is what it is, man.
Our boy Adam. You don't think McDuffie's a top 5 corner? That's wild.
By all metrics in the NFL, he's top 5 corner.
Yeah, I think he is, dude. Like statistically and the eye test, I think he is. Top 20, that's not even a question. Top 5. If you have him out of top 5, you have to have him at number 6. And I'd be interested to see who the other 5 corners were.
If you got him in the top 5, he's definitely a top 10. So you don't have to go to 20.
If he's not top 5, he's number 6.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'd like to see the other 5 you have in front of him, Adam. Good to see you though, buddy. Hope you're doing well. Let's see. Mary said he was not.
All know Veach is going to F the draft.
Mary said he was not a top 10 last year. I think he was, Mary. I think he was, actually.
Well, it kind of depends on what metric you're going by. If you're going by individual stats, like was he the number 1 corner against, did he have the highest, interception rate? Well, no. He had 2 picks. But I think by all measures, Trent McDuffie was a top 5 corner. I think he was. I don't even know how you do this.
He was the highest. He was the highest graded. Right? He was the highest graded corner in all of national football in 2023 and 2024.
But then people are going to argue.
You go into 2025. Let's see here. Let me toy around with this a little bit. You got me interested now. Mike, get Barrett's super chat.
I'm going to get Barrett.
I'm going to check
Barrett
this
with
out.
a 7 Canadian, baby. Barrett, good to see you, brother. Our Canadian brother. Team Canada played like the Chiefs this year. Close, but no cigar in my heart. Can't catch a break. Do you believe the Royals ever amounts to anything? The Royals? Man, I took those years with, Gordon
14 and 15
and Moustakas and Hosmer. Boy, I took those years, and I'm just going to hold on to those because I don't know if they're ever going to be back.
Lorenzo
but I will
Kane.
say, maybe they're going in the right direction. And sorry, America had to put it down on Canada, No. Dude, I love hockey. Hockey is one thing that I don't watch enough of, but I absolutely love it when I watch it.
I feel like
it's
it'd be more
so fun to watch.
I feel like it'd be more fun to play, except for the whole getting your teeth knocked out thing. That looks wild.
Yeah, you don't want that. It's just concussions, people taking their skate off and trying to stab you.
Okay.
Like whatever you got.
So
going.
if you go by 2025, I would allow you to say that Trent McDuffie, the lowest I could put Trent McDuffie in 2025 would be 7.
Okay, so who would you put in front of him then?
I'm not saying that I would do this, but I'm saying you could do this.
Yeah, who would you make
Pat
the argument
Surtain.
for? I'll give you Pat Surtain. You
could probably go Sauce. You could go Devon Witherspoon. If you wanted to, you could throw in Derek Stingley, Quinyon Mitchell, Christian Gonzalez. That's about it, bro. And I would never put Quinyon Mitchell over Trent McDuffie.
I mean,
not any.
The Colts got absolutely fleeced over Sauce.
Right. I don't think he's as good as people think he is. Now, Derek Stingley Jr. was probably the consensus number 1 corner of 2025, even ahead of Pat Surtain. But I still don't think he's as good as people think he is. And he's a big-time injury risk. But in 2025, he did play, and I would say he goes top. I would say I would still have Trent McDuffie in the top 5 because I would probably go Derek Stingley, Pat Surtain, probably Witherspoon, McDuffie, and Christian Gonzalez if it was me.
Yeah, it is what it is.
So I don't know.
They said Barrett said, "Do you believe the Royals will ever amount to anything?" So not the Royals, but Jaylen Royals. It's early, you bunch of chooches. Okay, if you're gonna, you specify Jaylen Royals. Okay, don't make me look stupid in front of my friends.
Do I think Jaylen Royals are going to amount to anything? I don't know. I haven't got to see him yet.
Andy Reid's like, Andy don't even know who Jaylen Royals is. You ask him this question, he's gonna be like, "Who? I ain't ever seen this guy." We haven't seen him either.
I think he could. I mean, I loved him coming out of college. I thought we'd get him at round 4 there was a steal.
You think Royals, if you give him a shot, do you think he could be a Rice replacement? Like, his game mimicked it. He was the running back with the ball in his hands. Because we said we seen a little bit of, like, Jamar Chase-esque after the catch.
There's some crazy stuff there. So yes, I do believe he could be. That's upside though. That's the top of the top. I don't know if that's what we're gonna get. No idea. Mr. Through it cheap, the wet sheep, Mr. the wet sheep. We talked about this ad nauseum probably about 10 minutes ago, brother. So go check that out. If we trade Trent McDuffie for pick 20, what we would do.
So many good options.
Yeah, a lot of options. It opens you up big time. Huckleberry with the 2 bombs says Lemon Sadiq, best pass rusher available.
That would be his 3.
Okay, well, who would be the best pass rusher available at pick 40?
Pick 40. I mean, you've got like Gabe Akis would be my boy right there.
I think he could sneak into the back end of the first round, brother.
He could, but pick 40 is probably about right. You've got Akeem Mesidor could possibly be there. Now he's like more ready to go. Zion Young could be there.
I think all 3 of those guys could sneak into the back end of the first round.
But I don't think they will.
I don't know if all of them will, but all 3 of them have that possibility.
Yeah, they've got a possibility. But yeah, you only have 32 picks in the first round, so somebody's got to fall out. So I think you've got plenty of options. And a lot of people like Derek Moore out of Michigan. He had a pretty good Senior Bowl. Ihanichor completely destroyed him in the actual game. Like he's threw him around like a rag doll. But, I mean, at 6'3", 254, even Derek Moore, Steve, you liked him on film. You thought Derek Moore
the guy
was
from
pretty
Michigan?
solid.
Not for the Chiefs, though. I do like him, but I just don't think he could. He's a stand-up guy. He has no run defense. Like it's never going to happen. I just don't think it.
He's in the wheelhouse though as a Spags. Like he's barely under what Spags likes. He's 6'3", 254.
Now, do I think he could do it? Yes, but I think it would take some time and development, and we have not shown to be able to do that with guys. We just haven't.
Yeah,
I think you'd probably be looking, dude, like you said, Derek Moore. Another one that a lot of people probably bring up at that point, and I don't think he's worth it, would be LT Overton.
LT Overton. I was just getting ready to say, please don't say LT Overton.
Yeah, Romello Height could be hanging around there, but he's very undersized and older. There's not a whole Josh Josephs from Tennessee, but he's pretty undersized.
You know what's funny though is LT Overton, like he's kind of slow off the ball. But he is a perfect Spags dude, which is I think that's why like rubs people the wrong way. Like you just see people like LT Overton and he just screams Spags. He's probably got a Spags tattoo on his forearm. So like you're just like, damn it, I know we're gonna take this guy.
Here's where I'm at with it.
Don't want it.
Here's where I'm at with the Huckleberry. I like Mekhi Lemon a lot. I probably like him better than most people when you start looking at those top 3 wide receivers. I feel like, to me, he could potentially be the top wide receiver. Like, that's how good I think he is.
Yeah.
But
you can make a
I don't know. If I can get Omar Cooper at 40, I don't take Lemon.
No, because I think he's just as probably productive as Lemon.
If I can get Omar Cooper at 40, I don't take any of those top 3 guys. I don't even think about it. I mean, if you can get Omar Cooper at pick 40, I just don't.
There's a little bit of a talent gap. There really is. But I think at the end of the day, in an Andy Reid style system, you get what you get based on what the system calls for. So Rashee Rice, for example, is not going to all other teams and being as dominant as he was. But with the Chiefs, in the role he played, there were times he looked unstoppable. Does he not? So I think you play the roles, and I think Omar Cooper would play that role so well that I think he would be just as good or near that same level as Rashee Rice.
Yeah, Peter Woods would definitely be in the conversation if we did get more picks in the top 40. Crystal says, would you guys be surprised if they signed McNuggets?
McNuggets.
How you going to call McDuffie McNuggets? To a long-term deal. No, I would not be surprised, by the way.
Why are we calling them McNugs? I hope that's just a typo.
It's not, and that makes it even better.
You were messaging somebody, and you were like, what do you want for lunch? You're like, McNuggets. And then...
That's what's the McNuggets. No, but I would not be surprised at all. I've been saying this for probably 2 years now. I think if the Chiefs go outside of their norm and they were to sign a corner, it would be Trent McDuffie because they traded up for him in the first round. So they invested heavily in him. And then on top of that, he showed up. He performed. He was the top 3 corner in football his entire rookie contract. So I think if they do decide to extend him, that would not surprise me at all.
Yeah.
But with these options on the table that we're talking about, like today, it makes it tough. Because if Dallas were to offer you pick number 20 for McDuffie, and you're sitting here thinking, well, do I sign him long term? And we have this great corner. I don't know, dude. That definitely puts a wrench in the gears. So even if Brett Veach was thinking about it, he might reconsider. So I don't know. It's a tough one. But it wouldn't surprise me if we signed McNuggets. No. Mike, we got a 5-bomb from Nikki. Our girl, she says, which would you prefer? Score 35 a game with an average defense or top 5 defense and good but not great offense. I'm taking the 35 a game with an average defense. And let me tell you why. Because there's not a whole lot of teams in the National Football League that can put up 35 points right now.
Yeah, that's true.
Because, like, if you look at how this league's gone, it's a lot of ground and pound, tough defenses. If I'm guaranteed to score 30-plus points a game, I think you win 98% of your games. Because, I mean, you even saw in the Super Bowl. You saw in the AFC Championship game. These teams cannot score points. Like, they are good teams. Don't get me wrong. They wouldn't be there if they weren't. They have great defenses, but their offenses are ass cheeks. They cannot score. So, I would take that. That's my logic anyway.
Yeah, I appreciate that, Nikki. Appreciate
Yep,
you.
let's go. Andre from Facebook says, what about George Pickens? I don't know if we can afford the guy now.
Yeah, they're saying he's more than $30 million per year.
Isn't it crazy that we just passed him up like nothing for Sky Moore?
Yeah, it
Just
makes you
traded
wonder
back.
if the Chiefs ever even considered him.
They might think he's too
He did have a lot of
risky.
character issues coming out of college, though, right? Remember
Yeah,
he
they
was
might.
fighting
They might think
everybody
he's too, and he's been a little unpredictable so far. He was actually pretty decent once he got to Dallas, but when he was in Pittsburgh, he was a bit of a wild card.
Right. Somebody in the chat had a good question. I missed it.
Who would you be most surprised if they re-signed? That's a good question.
Charles Omenihu. If you're going to resign him, I'm going to smack you.
Yeah, I would go Omenihu. I'd probably be kind of surprised if they re-signed Drew.
If they restructured
Jawan
Jawan Taylor, that would surprise me.
Yeah, that.
Not saying it's not possible, but it would kind of surprise me.
It wouldn't surprise me a whole lot if they re-signed Hollywood for another year or Juju for another year. Pacheco would surprise me. Pacheco would be surprising.
Oh, yeah, that would be surprising.
That'd probably be my most surprising one. But yeah.
What's up,
Trade for
JCP?
AJ Brown. He says, trade for AJ Brown. I can't do it, dude. At this point, there was a time when the Chiefs actually were a player for AJ Brown. I think that's AJ Brown has shown his true colors with the Eagles.
Yeah,
And I'm not saying he's
Nick
wrong.
Sirianni rubs everybody the wrong way, doesn't he?
I'm not saying he's wrong by any means, because Jalen Hurts is not a good passing quarterback. I don't care what anybody says. That entire offense is based off of a tush push. They were underutilizing A.J. Brown. But I don't know if I can take a dude that just has that many outbursts and is that big of a locker room problem. I don't know if you take that risk, because we've shown that when we bring guys in here, DeAndre Hopkins, we don't necessarily use them. We're not going to give them a massive volume of receptions. We're not going to change our ways to appease this receiver. So if you bring A.J. Brown in here and he's not getting the targets he wants, what does he start doing? Causing problems.
Yeah.
I just don't know if I can go that route. I love A.J. Brown, the player, so I like the sentiment, but he scares me a bit.
Yeah. Steve, I lost the comment. Somebody asked a really good question. I can't find it. But they said, are there any no-name guys in this draft that you can see the Chiefs? You know, we always pick some randoms.
Yeah, well, there'll be one, I'm sure.
There's going to be some. There was two that's popped out to me that literally, like, I could totally see the Chiefs doing it. Number one for me was, again, I don't think he's a no-name, but Charles Demings out of Stephen F. Austin. Like, to me, he just kind of fits like that. He looks like Jaylen Watson or somebody on film. Like, he's got that Josh Williams vibe to him. Like, he's long, he's lanky, he plays man, and he's pretty solid. So, yes, he's starting to move up into, like, the third or fourth round, but that's a guy that people don't know about. Charles Demings from, Stephen F. Austin.
Right.
So everybody's like, oh, my God, who the hell is this? Like, you would be, a little confused. There's some other ones. Another one I seen was out of Nebraska. There's a guy I really like named Sierra Wright out of Nebraska. Now, he's kind of coming up a little bit. He had a pretty good, I want to say, Senior Bowl. That could be a guy, but there was also a who was the one I'd seen yesterday and I was cracking up? Oh, it was an edge rusher out of Vanderbilt. His name's Corday Sidnor, and he wasn't overly, like, I watched some of his stuff. He's kind of versatile. He could go here, there, everywhere. He played a lot of snaps for Vandy. I thought he was decently quick off the ball at times and different things. Like, his hands were pretty quick. There was a lot to like. But at the end of the day, like, the one thing that just stuck out to me is I just wrote, he's a straight line athlete and he's just not twitchy. And then as soon as I wrote that, I put in parentheses, Spag's probably loving him. So he's 6'4", 266. Like, he's just kind of in that wheelhouse. Anybody over 6'4", 260, just put a little star by him. You can see Spags right there saying, we'll take you. We'll take you.
So I don't have any no-name guys, but I have some guys that are kind of making a name for themselves that I could see the Chiefs maybe looking at, and that would be, I've mentioned him a few times on this show, Nadami Tucker, the edge rusher from Western Michigan. But I think he could go in the third round maybe, but fourth. And then the other guy I was thinking about as actually making a pretty good name for himself, and that's Ted Hurst, the wide receiver from Georgia State. So those are the two I would think of. I don't know any no-name guys that I see them going after, but you never know. They like to do that kind of stuff. Corden, absolutely. There's a massive possibility of trading down. I actually think that even if the Chiefs don't trade Trent McDuffie away, say this trade scenario with the Cowboys did not take place. They didn't even trade the Rams. So you only have pick 9 and pick 40. I think the most logical scenario and the most likely scenario is to trade back. I think that's really what they might do. So, I mean, that's definitely a big possibility of doing that. Mike, we got a 5-bomb from our boy Huckleberry. Says, I'm just tired of giving Mahomes scraps. Get that man some freaking weapons, and let's win games by 2 or 3 scores again. Dude, I'm right there with you. I'm right there with you. And, I thought that this wide receiver crew from last year was the best one that he'd had in a while, and they couldn't stay healthy or get open or stay out of trouble. So I'm with you, dude. Like, we got to figure something out. And I like the idea of free agency and getting guys that are good. But the draft could help with that too. It's just, I think they've been plugging away at it with the draft. They just haven't really hit. They got Rashee Rice, they got Xavier Worthy, but they haven't found that Puka Nacua type guy that can just come in and take over a game,
Yeah. Also, NFL's just, the salary cap and everything's just designed it to be so, there's a lot of parity. There just is. And so it's tough. It's tough to always consistently win by 2 and 3 scores. I think if you go back and look through the Patriots' big years, I did it one time. Tom Brady them only beat teams by double and triple digits. Not triple digits, but 3 scores. 2 scores, 3 scores. They only done that probably maybe 2, 3, 4 times a season. Now, there was one season where they just hammered everybody. But I think we've seen that with Mahomes.
And they lost in the Super Bowl to Eli Manning.
Yeah, and I don't know if it'll happen again with us because it just takes so much. Because, you can't neglect your defense because if you do that, it turns into a Chiefs versus Colts playoff scenario where we didn't even make Peyton Manning punt one time.
Right.
So, you've got to have a very good balance. I think you just got to find the right pieces.
A lot of people would argue that the running game is important to getting Mahomes back to being able to do that. So, speaking of that, we did a live stream last night where we talked about the possibility of the Chiefs getting one of these free agent guys, whether it be Travis Etienne, Breece Hall, somebody of that nature. But anyway, we had like a list of, say, 10 of them or more, and we did them in tiers. Yeah, we had 15 free agent running backs, and we kind of put them in tiers S, A, B, C, D/F. So we kind of tiered that out. If you would like, you can go back and watch it right when we get off here today. It was last night's live stream. That was a good one. We had some funny back and forth about Rico
My 2
Dowdle.
favorite comments out of all that, people were watching the video last night and commenting. And my 2 favorite comments were from 2 people that had never watched our channel before but felt the need to chime in. So just come take the mic. But they never watched the channel before, Steve. And here's the 2 things. This was one of my favorite ones. You guys talk too much.
What?
A talk
Hey, stop.
show / podcast.
Shh. Shh.
Boy, that's fun to watch.
Silence.
Hey, dude, a talk show podcast, you talk too much. I cracked up at that one. I was like, bro,
Shut up.
what are you smoking?
Shut
and
up.
then the other one said, you guys argue like you're brothers or something.
Well,
Oh.
about that.
Also, look, like there's heated football debate, but I mean, honestly, go turn on ESPN, NFL, go turn on any of them. They're all just going to sit there and fight with each other. That's what they do.
Right. Well, I saw a really good comment from last night where they said this is a classic bar room football discussion. And that's
Right.
exactly what we wanted to be
what
when we
we
started.
do.
Yeah. So, I mean, I counted that as a dub, Mike.
That is
Guys,
a dub.
we appreciate y'all being here today. Do us a favor, hit that like button on the way out if you haven't already. You can also subscribe to the channel if you haven't. Hang out with us more often. That would be fantastic. We're trying to get to 100,000 subscribers. Ultimately, we're about 53,000 right now. So do us a favor, share the word, tell your friends, family, where to find some good Chiefs content, some good NFL content, and share it out with everybody. Also, you can become a member of the channel. We're going to have our members only live stream coming up here soon. We have a good time with that. We usually give some stuff away. So if you'd like to become a member of the channel, you can hit that join button at the top or go to join.allchiefedup.com. It's only $4.99 a month, and it's a lot cheaper than that gym membership you're not using, I promise you. Also, we have merch. You can help support the channel by buying merchandise at merch.allchiefedup.com. Got some nice hats, shirts, hoodies, all kinds of stuff over there. So you get something cool and you get to support the channel. Want to shout out the sponsors of today's live stream. DraftKings. Go download it if you don't have it. Use that promo code ACU to sign up. And also Zarda Barbecue. They're freaking legendary. Lenexa and Blue Springs area. Get over there. Get yourself some food. Let them know that All Chiefed Up sent you their way. And we'll be back next time with some more stuff. We'll be recording a podcast tonight that'll probably go out in the morning. So be on the lookout for that.
Steve, they want to know who won the poll really quick.
Oh, there's a poll. I always forget about the polls.
Yeah, they always want to know the poll.
In
It
the
looks
poll.
like, yes, Trent McDuffie should be traded is what it says.
Yeah, 57% think that they should trade him for pick 20 if that comes up. And I can't argue with it. I would be okay with it either way. I'm on the fence with it, but I mean, I'm almost leaning more towards take the pick. I don't know.
It could be fun, right?
Yeah. All right. You guys have a good day. Go Chiefs.
Get wild.